Starting, and we're on video number 8.
Assalamualaikum.
Walaikum Salam. Haji,
So
so
what are
one
we?
of our mutuals wanted us to talk about how the restaurant industry can cope with this lockdown situation.
Yeah.
So, yeah, a few
Do you?
ideas.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, from the obvious to the non-obvious. So the obvious one is obviously to pivot to a model which is maybe temporarily, but a model which is based on deliveries. I think that pivot also involves simplifying the menu because obviously people are financially strained as well. So maybe not fancy stuff. Depends on the restaurant we're talking about, but simplify, make it easy to send across in a package which can be left at the door, minimizing human interactions, um, and also maybe doing things like recipe of the day, special of the day, something different, because obviously people are looking for something which is economical and which is also different because they're getting bored of eating the same pasta and the same pizza
Yeah.
every day.
The same mac and cheese.
Same mac and cheese. So definitely some variety, but I think economy is the name of the game while this lockdown is in effect, and people are losing jobs left, right, and center. That's the reality that we all face.
Mm.
Apart from that, some of the restaurants are doing CSR campaigns. They're donating food to food banks and all. It all depends on the size of the restaurant that we're dealing with. So if it's a big chain, I'll give you an example here in Canada. Paramount, what they've done is that they've put up a GoFundMe page, and they're allowing people to donate to the GoFundMe, and from the GoFundMe, Paramount will prepare these meals and give them out to the healthcare professionals in various hospitals here in the GTA. So I think that's a great example of how it can be done. On the
Mhm.
Desi side, Auntie's Kitchen in Mississauga, they did a big food donation drop off at one of the Peel Region hospitals. I think so it all depends on how much you have in your pocket, how long you can last out, and what you can do. And suppose there's a restaurant which can't do any of the above. Good time to build up a Facebook following, go on to socials, build, show recipes, um, introduce the staff in the restaurant, spend some capital on building social capital so that you're ready for the upswing, inshallah, when it comes. Meanwhile, of course, pivoting the business model to deliveries. So I was also reading that some restaurant owners are doing deliveries on their own now because they want to cut out the Uber Eats percentage or the skip the dishes percentage because every penny
Yeah.
counts at the moment, right? Um, so these are some of the things that can be done. Just sitting on your haunches expecting that things will go back to normal. I don't think that's a good business idea at any given point in time. So if the restaurant doesn't have the skill set to do their own socials, they can look for a freelancer quickly and find someone to help them because a lot of
Mm.
freelancers are also struggling. So social media talent is also available. Yeah, somebody could help
Yeah.
them set up the socials and help them work out how they want. Do they want to do a live short video daily, just talking about something that they're testing, something that people can just cook up on the fly at home, so that there's some interaction going and brand building happening during this phase.
Yeah. I mean, even showing the preparation of the dish of the day,
Exactly.
or having a small contest, running a poll.
Hmm.
Hey, so tomorrow we are thinking of doing these 5 dishes. Please vote. And whichever dish is chosen is the one that'll be our dish of the day tomorrow. That kind of thing. Just
Yeah,
build engagement with that user base.
yeah, I think it'll work.
Yeah, I mean, polls are cheap and cheerful, and they're a good way to build engagement, I think.
Absolutely. So
And also, I mean, maybe the owner of the restaurant can come forward and talk about the steps that they're taking to minimize the risk of infection from their side. You know, put a face to the restaurant, be visible. This is the
yeah.
time where you have to stand by your product, literally. And you know,
Yes.
especially if you're the person who's doing the deliveries, then I think that's a nice way of doing it as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a good, it could actually turn out to be a good moment to build a relationship with the community, to reach out and build a relationship, and then, when the coil spring opens up again, you'll be in a better place, I think. I think
Yeah.
that's the plus side. On the downside, I know many businesses will go bust during this period, and those who are struggling may not may not find it feasible to reopen again. But that's what it is. I mean, there have been downturns in the past, and people have gone bust in the past as well. It is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, it's sad that it's because of a situation like this, but you know, um, it's an economic downturn of epic proportions.
Exactly.
And for most of us, we remember the last one that was barely 10 years ago, 10, 12 years ago, and
Yeah.
it was for an entirely different reason. But the
Absolutely.
reality is, I think this is an opportunity to try and develop a business model that is somewhat shock-proof, that allows you to kind of retrench and simplify in order to have longevity if required.
Yeah, I
And for
completely
many of
agree.
us, I think this is going to be the new normal, at least in North America and Europe. I can see this being the new normal for the rest of this year.
Yep. Yep. Absolutely. So, on to the second thing which you wanted to discuss.
Yeah, so you know, there's been a lot of talk about how some governments have used mobile ID data to help to curtail and control the spread of the virus. And just to, in case you know people have not heard of it, places like South Korea, China, I think Singapore as well, have partnered with telcos. They've identified people who have tested COVID positive, and then they've tagged their mobile ID, gone back 2 to 3 weeks, and basically found every mobile ID that was in close proximity to that particular mobile. And then those people have been sent messages saying, hey, you have been in proximity with someone who is identified as positive, has tested as positive. Therefore, we recommend that you go into self-quarantine and take precautions to, you may have become a carrier and you may not be showing any symptoms as yet, and so on. And most recently, this apparently has happened in Pakistan as well, where people have been sent these SMSs, which caused a lot of concern initially when they came out because people thought they were fraudulent, but they actually weren't. So I guess the question is, our data, I mean, we all know at the back of our mind that our data is being collected and stored. I think this is one of the first cases that has come out where that data has actually been put to use in a way that your personally identifiable information is available, and you're being systematically, targeted. And the argument is, well, this is for the greater good, and the greater good is is a very slippery argument.
Yeah, I
So,
think. Yeah, I think one of the concerns is what happens after this is over, right? Does
mm,
this become the new normal that we have to accept this? But I'll tell you what, this has been going on for a long time,
mhm.
especially in authoritarian countries. This is normal for the government to be so-called snooping in on your movements on a minute-to-minute basis. I think what's new is that it's now sort of public domain. People know
Yeah.
about it. I think that's normal. That's now a known, whereas previously perhaps it wasn't such a big known factor. That's
Yeah.
that's the only difference that I see.
Yeah, I mean, civil liberties folks are raising a flag on this because, I mean, they can't be too vocal about it because the situation is, you know, dramatic and calls for action of some sort. I think I echo your concern. Um, like once it is found to be effective in a situation like this, will it be used for other purposes on an ongoing basis? And I think the sad reality is that in authoritarian regimes, in developing countries, where privacy is not so much an issue, like people in Pakistan will sign away pretty much, every piece of personally identifiable information just to sign up to a free Wi-Fi in a mall. They will put in all kinds of information to get that free Wi-Fi. And the mindset is, well, whatever, I'm getting free Wi-Fi, so I don't really care if they know this about me. So what they don't realize is that that information then goes into a massive data lake, which is then part of a DMP somewhere, a data management platform, and now your profile is being shared with advertisers, with anyone who wants to target a particular type of audience, and more importantly, your profile is then being used to create retargeted profiles in order to send you better ads and send other people like you better ads. So it's already happening. I mean, it's a thing. So I'm concerned, but I don't know what, if anything, we can do about it at this point.
Yeah, so there are some moves to allow people to actually sell their data and actually be part of the broking process. I think that's one thing, one possible solution in countries where it's already a given. But for example, in Canada, it's a big deal. Your privacy is important.
Mm.
So if the government were to release cell phone tracking data like that here, I think there would be a huge outpouring of sentiment against that idea. That don't do that. That's just not something that we accept as citizens.
Yeah, I mean, it's the equivalent of putting a camera in everyone's home, right?
It is.
And that's where it goes logically from here. Your Big Brother dystopia, 1984.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact is, those cameras are already on our mobiles, and they can be leveraged whenever the government chooses to leverage those cameras. So the concern is not the government, really. I mean, at least in Pakistan, it's more the private apps that demand access to all kinds of modalities on your phone. Like, why does every app want to access your camera? Why does every app want to access your contact list? Because they are accessing your contact list and sharing that data. And so that's why I've recently deleted a number of apps from my phone, but I fear that the damage has been done, and that data is in the hands of all of these app developers, and some of these app developers are really, they're not Apple, they're not Microsoft, they're not Google, that have standards they need to maintain. These are fly-by-night operators that happen to make a hit game, or a, or an app that has been moderately successful. So it's this is a slippery slope that we as a society, I think, are just sliding down very rapidly, and I don't see a bottom to the slope at this point, at least not in the developing countries.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. But keep one thing in mind, right? In a society where seven people sleep in a room, there is no privacy. So these ideas of personal space and privacy are extremely Western and privileged class ideas. Joint family systems and poverty uh, don't allow for personal space and privacy. There is no such thing. Everyone knows everyone's business. So
Well, well,
that's
well,
why people in
well,
developing countries don't give a crap, because they've grown up in that idea.
well. No, I think I agree with you, but there is a reason that YouTube watching on mobile, which is 80% of all YouTube viewing in Pakistan, is growing so fast. It's because there's a lot of people who are at 11 o'clock at night finding a corner in the house, or on a rooftop or on a ledge or outside the house, and watching whatever they want to watch. And there's a reason that porn viewing in these developing countries has skyrocketed. And I've seen data that talks about female viewing of porn, because this is the woman's private space. So it is, the people are finding privacy because they want to watch stuff that they can't necessarily watch while sitting in the living room with their kids. So, uh, there's going to be a bit of a disconnect at some point. The vast majority of Pakistanis are still not on the internet. So, it remains, as you say, a problem of the privileged class. Um, but it's expanding rapidly, and we already have, I think, what is it, 70 million, 80 million internet users in Pakistan, which is about 40% of the country. But I suspect in the next 12 to 18 months, that number will be, 70% of the country. So these issues will become more and more, I think, more visible as more people come on board with these platforms.
Yeah, I suppose.
Anyway, I mean, time will tell, but it's something that just, is at the back of my mind every time I download an app or think about downloading an app.
Yeah, you should have another phone where you download all the crap and have no data on it, or have
Yeah.
some fake profile on it, and let that app take all that fake data and use it,
Yeah.
and use
Yeah,
your
but
own personal phone for your personal stuff.
yeah, but you know what? The DMP guys are very smart. They will also figure out using my mobile ID that these two phones are always side by side. Eventually, they'll make that connection as well.
Switch off location sharing. Anyways, there are ways to do it. You can put in a VPN and tunnel into another location and do it. So that's how people in Dubai are doing it, right? They're using VPNs all the time. I was on a WhatsApp call on a WhatsApp video call with someone in Dubai, and that person said, "Everyone has VPN, sir. Now it is common." I was like, "Oh, that's interesting. So if everyone has a VPN, where's all that policy that was there about we don't allow this and that?" Interesting.
Well, they do allow it because there's an app called Botim that everyone is using in
Yeah, I
Dubai to
know
frequently
that.
call out. And Botim is an app that I refuse to download because of its intrusive permission requests. I was
Yes.
like, why the hell do you want to contact my contact list? Get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
So it's one of the most intrusive apps that I've found. So anyway,
Yes.
all right,
Agreed.
bro. Interesting discussion as always.
Yeah, good luck
And
with your Park Zamin challenge that you guys are doing at Grana. And
yeah,
looking
yeah.
forward to seeing the results of that.
Yeah, we just launched it yesterday, and it seems to have gained some traction in the last 24 hours. We've even had a celebrity or two come on board and proactively share their videos with us, which is really nice. In fact, you can go and check out Aisha Omar. She's uh, she's a very well-known actress and singer, which I wasn't aware of. She's actually got an album out and everything, and her voice is fantastic, and she does an
Mhm.
amazing job singing the national anthem. So yeah. So I'll share some of the results of that in the next few days, inshallah.
Yeah, inshallah. Look forward to it. All right.
All right, man.
Okay. Put up the
Stay
video and I'll
safe.
share it on my profile. Okay.
Yep. Bye for
Okay.
now.
Hafiz.